Hello students, today we are going to study about our first lecture in the geography. Okay, this year the syllabus has been changed. Now last year what we have studied about the physical geography. But now this year we are going to study a human geography. First let me introduce that subject. What is that human geography? Okay, basically what geography studies? Geography studies the interaction of human beings with the environment, okay, and how environment influence our activities, and also how the human activities are responsible drastic changes in the environment. So basically population geography is the part of human geography. It is the branch of human geography, okay, and population geography is very important, okay. Nowadays it is a very concerned topic, okay. So we must have to study the population geography. First of all, we have to know what is population geography. So population geography studies the human population and its distribution and pattern on the earth's surface. So what does the population geography studies? Population geography studies the population, humans, okay, their distribution and their pattern over the earth's surface, how population is distributed, in which manner it is distributed. So these kind of all questions and all aspects are studied in this population geography, and it also study the qualitative and quantitative aspects of this subject. So basically in the first lesson the name is population part 1. Okay, we are going to study population part 1. This is our first lesson, and in this lesson what we are going to study? We are going to study human as a resource. Okay, what are the impacts of human beings on the environment, how population affects the economy, how population affects the environment, that we are going to study in this lesson. So basically in this lesson we are going to study about the human resource. First concept in this lesson is distribution of population. Distribution, in which manner and in what way the population is distributed or the population is spread throughout the world, that we are going to study in this lesson. So basically what, as you know that human population is unevenly distributed. It is not like that evenly distributed, some people are here and some people are here. It is not like that. It is unevenly distributed. Means if we see in some part or in some part of the in some region of the world the population is concentrated, in another part the population is sparse or less, okay. So from that we can conclude population is not evenly distributed. It is unevenly distributed throughout the world. Now if we take the population index of 2019, or if you see the population of world in the year 2019, it is around 7.7 billion, okay, and this population is increasing year by year, month by month, okay. So there is a major role of this population on the geography, and we must have to study this population from the point of view of the geography. It is not just a number, we have to study its qualitative impacts and its quantitative impacts on the environment. Now they have given in your book figure 1.1, they have given the two pie diagrams. On the left hand side they have given the distribution of land masses of from different continents, and on the right hand side they have given the distribution of population in different continents. Okay, as you know that how many continents are there? There are 7 continents, namely North America, South America, then we have Europe, Africa, then we have Asia and Antarctica, and the last and the small continent Australia. So these are the 7 continents. So now please observe carefully that diagram 1.1. okay. Now if you see on the left hand side they have given the land mass, percentage of land in that continent, and on the right hand side they have given the population in that particular continent. So what we conclude from that diagram, sir, what are our observations? First one, North and South America occupies around 28% of land mass, okay. If you calculate that, it will come around 28%, and these North and South America continents barely support the 18% of the population. Now just compare two diagrams. See North and South America, together they can contribute 28% land mass and barely support the 18% of the population. Now next take the continent Asia. Okay, Asia is the biggest continent from the point of view of the land mass and also the population. Now see the Asia's land mass, Asia occupies around 30% of the land mass and covers 60% of the population. Now see Asia 30% and 30% land mass and supports around 60% of the population. Now take the third continent Europe. Now see Europe has 7% of land mass and it is supports 5% of population. Now take the next continent Australia. What about Australia? In the land, Australia covered around 6% of world land and does not even support the 1% of the population. If you see, Australia covers 6% of the land mass and barely less than 1% it supports the population. Next, we take the example of Antarctica. Antarctica has around 9% of the land mass but does not have the permanent settlement, does not have the permanent population. Why this is so? I will tell you. First see the diagram 1.1. Here they have shown the land mass of Antarctica, it is 9%, but in the another diagram of the population they have not shown the Antarctica because in Antarctica there is no permanent settlement or there is no permanent population due to the cold climate. If you observe the world map, Antarctica is in the south pole and what is the characteristics of this Antarctica? Antarctica is fully covered with the snow. Antarctica is fully covered with the ice. That's why less availability of land. And what about the temperature? If you see in the poles, at the poles the temperature is very low. Due to this reason, the less availability of land and due to the cold temperature and having a frigid zone, that's why Antarctica does not have the permanent population. That's the reason why Antarctica is not shown in the second diagram. So this is how population is distributed throughout the continents. If you see Asia is the largest continent both in the landform and having the largest population in the world. Okay, and next if you see Australia occupies the least percentage of land mass. It is around I think so 6%, okay, and it barely supports less than 1% of the population. So Asia is the largest continent both in terms of the land mass and population, and Australia is the least or is the last continent having the least population and the least land mass. So from these pie diagrams we conclude that human population is unevenly distributed. And if you compare the globe, if you see northern hemisphere, the part north to the equator, and southern hemisphere, the part south to the equator, if you compare the population, so what we are going to see, the population in the northern hemisphere is more, it is densely populated than the population in southern hemisphere. What will be the reason? Just check out the map. Now here you are going to see the most land mass, all these continents are maybe permanently or maybe in the northern hemisphere, and what we are going to see in the south hemisphere, it is just the ocean and the one continent Antarctica, which is a humanoid zone. That's why in the northern hemisphere population is densely populated and in the southern hemisphere population is sparsely populated. Got it? Next point, a very important term, population density. Now you have studied about the density in physics, chemistry and all this, but we have to study this population density in terms of the geography. So what is the population density, what does it define, what does it mean, all we are going to see in this topic. But this is a very important point from point of view of the exam, because here they can ask about write short note on population density, they can ask about define population density, what is the formula for population density. These are all concepts in this population density. So first of all, if you see the population and its density, and the population is unevenly distributed, okay. So for the distribution of land and population are unevenly distributed, and for study this land and population we can understood better by using this term population density. So what will happen, the distribution of land and population can be better understood by the term called population density. So what is the population density? In simple words, population density is the number of people living in unit area. Okay, what is population density? So population density is the number of people living in the unit area. Suppose this is a 1 square kilometer area, okay, 1 by 1, and in this square if 20 people are living, means the population density of this area, of this region is 20. Okay, number of people living in a square in a unit area. And what about the formula? We can give formula for that. Population density is equal to total population upon total area in square kilometer. This is very important, students, because this formula you can use it for numericals also. Okay, so what is total population? Now in the numerical they will give you the total number of population upon the total area in square kilometer. This is very important, square kilometer. The area must be in square kilometer. Then and only then we are going to find about the population density. So please remember this formula, population densities. Next, in simple words we can say that population density is the human man or land man ratio, correct? Next, in simple words it expresses the land man ratio in an area. Now if you look at the table 1.1 given in the book, so what that table shows? The table shows the 10 most populous countries in the world. Okay, they have given China, they have given India, they have given USA. Okay, the most populous country in the world is China. The second populous country is of India, around 135 billion. Next, third one is USA. So what they have given, the population of that country, they have given also the area. So just you have to fill the third column, that is of population density. And how you are going to find that population density? It's just simple, use this formula, total population upon total area in square kilometer. If you apply this formula and put that values in this formula, you can get the answer, and this answer may be population density. Example, for example, take in the year population of one town is 10,000, okay, and the area of that town is 2 lakh square kilometer. Okay, so this is 10,000 is the number of people, population, total population, and this 2 lakh square kilometer is the area. So if you have to calculate the population density, just put the values, do the calculation, it will come around 1:20. Means in 1 square kilometer area 20 people are living. This is all about the population density, and this is very simple, students. Just remember the concepts. What is population density? Population density is the number of people living in a unit area, and what is the formula for it? Total population upon total area in square kilometer. This is all about the population density. Now what we have to study? We have to study the distribution, pattern of distribution of population. We have to study pattern of distribution. Okay, so what is that pattern of distribution? What does it mean? It just simply gives us an idea about how population density or how population is spread around the world. Okay, if you compare figure 1.1 and table 1.1, we observe that population is unevenly distributed. Okay, it is most populated in some region, or it is sparsely populated in another regions. Okay, means it is uneven. We can't say that in particular regions the population is less or like this, but the population density changes. So pattern of population distribution and density helps us to understand the demographic character of the area. So what is the use of this pattern of distribution of the population? It helps us to describe or to understand the demographic character of an area. Okay, this pattern of distribution helps us to understand the demographic character of an area. If someone gives about some population density, someone tells you about the age ratio, someone tells about you the marital status, fertility rate, birth rate, mortality rate, also these kind of components will gives you the idea about the pattern of population distribution. The most important definition of population distribution. What is population distribution? So it refers to the term in a way in which the people are spread around the earth's surface. So what is population distribution? It is just the term refer for in a way what people are distributed throughout the world. This is called the population distribution. Population distribution refers to the way people are spread over the earth's surface. If you compare the distribution of world population with physical factors, if you compare, now see the map behind your book, textbook, page number 83 maybe, and the physical map and the population map. Okay, now you have to compare both these maps. Okay, one with having the physical factors, another having the population. If we compare both the maps carefully, we find some points, we have some observation, we have some conclusion. So what is that conclusion? First one, snow covered areas, snow covered region near the North Pole and the South Pole, they are sparsely populated. Got it? The area, now see the North Pole and South Pole, the area near the Antarctica and near the South Pole, North Pole. If you see the population map, we will find the population is less. The population is sparsely distributed in this North Pole and the South Pole. Now tell me the reason, what will be the reason for that? So the reason is due to the cold climate. As you know that North Pole and the South Pole comes in the frigid zone, and what is the characteristics of frigid zone? The temperature is always less. The temperature is always below the freezing point. Due to this and due to the land availability, less land availability, due to these two reasons, we find the population is sparsely distributed in North Pole and the South Pole. Second, hot deserts. Now see hot deserts like Thar, Sahara, and the cold deserts like the Gobi deserts. If you see and if you compare the population, what we are going to see? Now the population of Thar desert or the hot deserts and the cold deserts, these areas are less populated. The population density is less. These areas having less population. Now why this is so? Because of the reason of the temperature. If you see the temperature in hot desert, it is very high, always around 45-46 degrees, and at the cold deserts the temperature is very low. So due to this temperature factor, the human population is very low in this region. It is very important to note this point. Next, the mountainous region. Now come to the mountainous regions or hilly regions. What we are going to see, compare these two maps. So what we are going to observe is that mountainous regions or hilly regions are sparsely populated. They have the less population. Why, my students? Because of the high elevation. Mountains have the high elevation, high altitude. Second, they have the steep slopes, they have the valleys, they have unrock topography. Okay, the transportation and communication system is not easily available in that points. That's why the mountainous regions and the hilly regions are sparsely populated. Now next, coastal regions. Now see, compare the coastal regions. The population of coastal regions, around more than 50% of the world's population is concentrated in the coastal regions. Now why this is so? Because at the coastal region, the temperature, the climate is favorable. Okay. Second, water is easily available. It is beneficial for trade also due to the sea transport, and due to these reasons, the continents or the coastal regions has the more population. They are densely populated. Now if you see the example of plains, okay, take the example of North Indian plains. These plains are found due to the depositional work of Himalayan rivers like Ganga, Yamuna, Brahmaputra, okay, and these regions are most fertile regions. These regions having fertile soil. If you see, this soil is very fertile, and agriculture is the basic occupation of the man. So because of this reason, due to the agriculture, availability of fertile soil, the human population is densely populated. Okay, because of this reason. And second reason is what? It is the lowland. It is having the flat surface. Okay, it doesn't have the steep slope. It has the gentle slope. And because of this reason, transportation system can be developed. Okay, industries can be developed. Okay, market will be developed. So what will happen? These industries will create the employment, and these industries will attract the people for this employment. So people will migrate from different regions to the plains, and the density of population will increase. Now if you take the example of river valleys, take the example of Amazon river valley. Okay, it is in USA. Amazon river valley is having the thick forest. Okay, dense forest. They have dense forest, the river. Okay, so that's why, due to this reason, due to the forest factor, the population is sparsely distributed. So we find that in the equatorial region of the Amazon basin, the population is sparsely distributed. So if you compare all these aspects, we are going to find there are some factors like snow, there are some factors like climate, there are some factors like temperature, like hot and cold deserts in the and poles. At some factors it is a coastal plains, in the plateaus, the population is unevenly distributed. From these, it means that factors other than physical factors are also related, are also responsible for the distribution of population. Now see, in Amazon there is a favorable climate, temperature is very good, rainfall is also good, but due to the thick forest, because of this forest reason, there is a sparse population. Okay, so that's why we find the sparsely populated region in Amazon valley. So now from that, what we conclude, there are some factors, some physical factors also, and some other than physical factors also, which are responsible for the population distribution. So in this way we have finished the population pattern of population distribution in the world. Now we are going to study about the factors, geographical factors affecting the population distribution. Factors, geographical factors affecting the distribution. Now if we have seen from figure 1.1, table 1.1, now we just have finished that pattern of population distribution. We have concluded that there are some reasons why there is in some region the population is dense, why there is in some regions the population is sparse, what are the factors behind it. It can be done quickly. There are some factors, there are some reasons, there are some needs. Because of that, the population is distributed in this manner. So we have to study this factor. Now if you have to study the different geographical factors, there are various factors, like there are economic factors also, there are financial, there are social factors also, there are political factors also, there are human factors also, and there are physical factors also. There are many factors which affect the distribution of population, but we have broadly classified these factors into two groups. Okay, one is the physical now, and second one is the human factors. So as you know that physical factors, it contains all the factors which we have from nature, like mountains, valleys, temperature, climate, soil, water is all included in these physical factors. And what about the human factors? These are the man-made factors. Okay, these are created by the man, and due to these man-made factors, it affects the population distribution. Now what are the examples of human population or human factor which affect the population? The first one may be agriculture. Okay, it is done by the man. Second one may be mining, one of the tertiary activities. Third one may be agriculture, transportation and communication. Okay, then urbanization will be there also, and also the development, economic development. These are all included in the human factors. Okay, now we are going to study individual factors right now. Okay, so what we have finished in this session, just see distribution, population distribution, how population is distributed in the different regions. Okay, we have seen the two pie diagrams, we have studied about the continental distribution of population. Okay, in that we have seen Asia is the largest continent, both in terms of land and also in terms of the population. And Australia is the least, Australia having the least landmass and having the least population. After that, what we have studied? We have studied the population density. Okay, population density. What is the population density? It is the term used for number of people living in an unit area. We have given also the formula. What is the formula for population density? Population density equals to total population upon total area in square kilometer. Now, after that, what we have studied? We have studied pattern of distribution. In what ways the population is distributed throughout the year. Then in this matter, we have taken the examples of snow covered areas in the north and south pole. Then we have taken the examples from hot deserts like Sahara, Thar. We have taken also the example of cold desert, Gobi desert. Okay. Then what we have next studied about the mountainous and hilly regions. We have studied the population in the mountainous regions are sparsely populated. At the hilly regions, the population is less. We have studied the reasons also due to the steep slope, due to the high elevation, due to the low temperature. Okay. After that, we have studied the coastal region and the plains. The population is densely populated in the coastal regions and the plains. After that, what we have studied? We have studied about the Amazon River Valley in the world. Okay, due to the thick forest, due to the dense forest, the population is less. So all these population distribution pattern affects the population in an unevenly manner. After that, what we have studied? We have studied the factors. Okay, we have just seen the factors. There are broadly two factors. First one is physical, another one is a human. Okay, got it? So what are the physical factors in which we are going to study about the water, we are going to study about the soil, we are going to study about the climate, okay, we are going to study about the temperature. And next, what we have studied in the human factors, we are going to study in the human factors like agriculture, mining, transportation and communication, urbanization, and social and political factors. Okay, this is all about today's lecture. Okay, thank you.